Welcome to online learning program of MSBTE, Learning at Your Doorstep. I am Sangeeta Bhoyer, lecturer at VS Polytechnic, Chembur, Mumbai. Today we are going to discuss assembler directives from Unit 2, Instruction Set and Programming. So, today's learning outcome is to explain use of given assembler directives with examples. Under this, we will see definition of assembler directives, functions and examples of org, end, equate, data, code, and end directive. Contents for today's presentation are assembler directives. Assembler directives are special instructions to assembler program to define some specific operation. But these directives are not part of the executable program. Some of them are obligatory part of every program, while some of them are used only to facilitate or speed up the operation. Some of the most frequently used assembler directives are org, db, equ, end, code, and data. We will discuss all these directives one by one. ORG directive. The ORG directive is used to indicate the beginning of the address of the source program. It defines the starting address for the program in program memory. Syntax. ORG address. The address can be given either in hex or decimal. There should be a space of at least one character between ORG and address field. If the number is not followed by H, then it is decimal and the assembler will convert it into hex. For example, ORG 0100H. This tells the assembler that the source program starts at the address 0100H in the program memory. The address may be in decimal. Example, ORG 0250. This will tell the assembler that the program will start at address 250D. DB, define byte. Define byte is the directive used to define data bytes 8-bit wide. This directive can be used at the beginning of the program. Syntax, label, colon, db, byte. There should be at least one space between label and db. The colon must present after label. There should be at least one space between db and a byte. The label will be used in program instead of actual byte. While writing the assembly language program, one should not use the reserved word or mnemonic as labels. For example, ADD is the mnemonic for the instruction set of 8051. So, ADD cannot be used as label. Similarly, ORG, end cannot be used as label. The number to be assigned to variable may be decimal, binary, hex, or ASCII form. The letter following the numbers identifies this. For example, D means decimal. So, 35 day is the decimal 35. By default, if nothing appears after the number, it is decimal number. Thus, 35 and 35D are same. A binary number ends with the alphabet B. Similarly, for hex number, the alphabet H must follow the number. Thus, 25H is the hex number. For representing number as ASCII characters, quotation marks are used. Single or double quotation marks may be used. DB directive is the only directive that can be used to define ASCII strings larger than 2 characters. Therefore, it should be used for all ASCII data definitions. Examples: ORG 500H, data 1 DB28. This define byte will define 28 number as data 1. So it is defining decimal number 28 as data byte. Data 2 DB 1001111B. Here B indicates that it is binary number defined as data 2. DB25H. Here 25H is the hex number is defined as data 3. DB. Here ASCII string "My name is Joe" is defined as data 4. Here 45454 is the ASCII number that is defined as data 5. Next directive is EQ. Equate directive is used to define a constant without occupying a memory location. The EQ directive does not set aside storage for a data item, but associates a constant value with a data label so that when the label appears in the program, its constant value will be substituted for the label. Syntax: label : EQ constant. Example: temp EQ 39, move a #temp. In above example, the value 39D is assigned to the label temp and then can be copied into register A anywhere in the program. The advantage of using EQ is that if a constant used in many different places in the program and the programmer wants to change its value throughout, by the use of EQ, the programmer can change its value just by changing the definition of this constant, and the assembler will change all of its occurrences, rather than search the entire program trying to find every occurrences. This saves the programmer's time. Now, before we proceed further, please attempt MCQs from set 1, which is given you as assessment sheet. Proceeding further, we have end directive. End directive indicates to the assembler the end of the source file. End directive is the last line of an 8051 program, meaning that in the source code, anything after the end directive is ignored by the assembler. Once it encounters this directive, the assembler will stop interpreting program into machine code. For example, here ORG000H indicates the start of program. Program starts at memory location 0000H, and at the last we have end directive. End directive indicates the end of program. If we write anything after this end directive, that will not be executed by the assembler. So this end statement will indicate the end of program. Next directive is code. The code directive is used to assign a symbol to a program memory address. Since the maximum capacity of program memory is 64K in 8051 microcontroller, the address must be in the range of 0 to 65535. Syntax: label : code address. Label indicates the name given to the program memory address given in the instruction. Example: reset code 00. Here 00 memory location called as reset. Table code 1024. Memory location 1024H is called table. Next directive is data. The data directive is used to assign a symbol to an address within internal RAM. The address must be in the range of 0 to 255. It is possible to change or assign a new name to any register. Syntax: label : data address. Label indicates the name given to the internal RAM address. Example: temp 12, data 32. Register at the address 32 is named as temp12. Second example: status _r data D0H. D0H is the address of PSW register. Hence, PSW register is named as status R. Now, please take MCQs from set 2, which are given in your assessment sheet. Let us take a quickly recap of important points. Assembler directives. Assembler directives are the special instructions given to the assembler. ORG directive. The ORG directive is used to indicate the beginning of the address of the source program. DB, define byte. Define byte is used to define data byte 8-bit wide. Equate. Equate directive is used to define constant without occupying a memory location. End. End directive is the last line of 8051 program, meaning that in the source code, anything after the end directive is ignored by the assembler. Code. The code directive is used to assign a symbol to a program memory address. Data. The data directive is used to assign a symbol to an address within internal RAM.